Well, apparently I'm live, and apparently this is the very last day of 2021. What a year it's been. I know. We've had pretty much everything. But I thought I'd just give you a little video to recap Al's Geek Lab for 2021, and thank you again for all of your support for this year. So I thought I'd just do it in a stream. I'm due to go out. It's New Zealand here, so we are the first country pretty much to see the sun of the new year. So I thought it fitting to be one of the first in order to say Happy New Year. It's 10 to 2 in the afternoon on the 31st. So that means that I really am quite early, but it's coming up for beer o'clock, and so that means that I've got to wrap this up fairly quickly. And I thought, well, I'll just do it streamed, so that way, if I make any mistakes, I can be forgiven, and I don't have to worry about editing or anything like that. So you're just gonna have to take it as it is. But I will record this for posterity. In fact, I'll press the record button now. There you go. I'm recording now. So thank you very much again for taking the time to watch Al's Geek Lab over the last 12 months. This is the second full year now. I think full year? It's definitely the second year of Al's Geek Lab. I think the first year we had a fair few videos. I say we. I don't know why I say we. It's just me. And I sort of, I remember 2020 where I upgraded from using sort of, I think it was iMovie on my MacBook Pro, and I was just kind of fiddling around and learning my way to, getting things a bit more professional. I went to use Premiere Pro, which I still hate paying for. It costs an awful lot of money. It's like $50 a month. But I know, and then I got a proper microphone. It's a nice Yeti. And the reason that I have this proper microphone, I'll keep this short. Thanks to all my Patreons. This microphone is courtesy of the Patreons, because you guys paid for that stuff, and you guys continue to pay for things like my Adobe membership. If it wasn't for you guys, then there simply wouldn't be the niceties that I have. So all of the sort of nice editing, the nice content quality, I guess, all of those things, that's down to you guys. So I'm hugely grateful. I probably don't say it enough, but I'm hugely grateful to the people who support this channel in financial terms, through Patreon, through now YouTube, and also through other methods. So if you want to be able to subscribe to Al's Geek Lab, I'll remind you at the end, but there's the Patreon link. So it's patreon.com/Al's Geek Lab. Yep, just on cue, somebody phoning me. That's wonderful. You can also go on to the stream as well, Streamlabs, and donate any value you like. But if you go to youtube.com/Al's Geek Lab, you can now press this join button here. And it's quite cool, because you don't even have to leave the channel. You can just press join there, and you get the same membership benefits that you would through Patreon, but you get them all within YouTube. So I guess that's kind of like neat, because everything's together. So anyway, I'm just going to go recap some of the highlights, or pretty much all of the highlights, all of the videos from this year. Don't forget as well that I've got this website, alsgeeklab.com. I really need to be doing more with it, and I will be doing more with it. It is up to date. It's got all of the videos that come out along here, and there's some extra little bits and bobs as well. Like I've got my bulletin board, BBS, and you can even connect to it there through the website, but more on that later. So here's the channel, and I'll just go quickly over the videos. Should I go old to new? I think I go old to new. I'll go this way. So I started off in when was this? When did I start? I think this was right at the very beginning of the year. So this is like about end of January, February time. and it was part 2 of Back to the BBS. If you haven't seen Back to the BBS yet, do check it out. It's a documentary series which is still going. I'm on part 7 now, but this was part 2, so it just goes to show you how far it's gone. Part 1 came out 21st December, so literally just over a year ago now. And it's been a pretty successful documentary series documenting all of the aspects of bulletin board systems. And each of the, if you don't know what a bulletin board system is, by the way, you guys are missing out. Definitely check out Back to the BBS. There is another documentary series which sort of took a look back at what BBSs were, and that was by a guy called Jason Scott, and that came out around 2005. It was released on DVD as well, but it's now free to view on archive.org. Great documentary series if you haven't seen that. But basically, Back to the BBS takes a different spin on that. It doesn't diarize, it doesn't historize bulletin board systems. What it does is basically shows you what bulletin board systems are today. So even though bulletin boards are old technology, it's actually, in a way, it's this huge big resurgence. All of a sudden, seems to be a whole bunch of people going on to bulletin boards, which is, a technology that people used in the 1980s and the 1990s before the World Wide Web. And, probably most people thought it was dead. Well, you can actually get onto it these days, and it is just fantastic to see this growing community. And I think a lot of that is down to the fact, well, nostalgia is one part of it, but the other part of it is because a lot of people have become pretty disillusioned with the web in general, but it's kind of like an echo chamber. A lot of people are just like going, man, all the web seems to be these days is like Facebook and YouTube, says he that's putting a video out on YouTube, but Facebook and YouTube and Google and a couple of other things, and that's pretty much it. It's like all designed to push you down this particular way. It's all for money and ads and all of that crap, and it's not really the fun place that the internet used to be. A lot of people don't even know the internet pre-Facebook, and it was a fun place to be. It was a different place to be, and it kind of felt fairly similar, I guess, to the bulletin board system. Now, the bulletin board system is completely free of ads, completely free of Google, completely free of spying and all the rest. Check out the part 1 of the documentary to see what it all is all about and what it's doing today, and all of the people that are on it. Part 2 introduced parts of the functionality, so you can actually do online gaming, as well as sort of the extra functionality in bulletin board systems. So mods, they are called, and I've even written my own mod now for my own bulletin board system. Yes, I got bitten by the bug that badly that I had to make my own bulletin board, and one of these mods is to show you sort of the currency values of all of the top 10 crypto coins, so Bitcoin and Ethereum and ADA and so forth. That's all in there. Time for a sip of water. Thirsty business, this talking nonsense. It's water, honestly. It's hot out there. It's summer here in New Zealand. Sorry about that for the rest of the world. And then, hot on the heels of that, came Back to the BBS Part 3. That was my next part, and I think that was I can't remember when that was. It was let me just find out. I'll tell you exactly when it was. Bring up my little channel thing. I'll pop that over here. Back to the BBS Part 3 was March the 14th. And that was all about privacy, messaging, and hardware. So literally just what I was talking about there, about going on to Facebook and basically feeling like you are the product, you are the thing that the currency of today. So it's a really, I think that was a really interesting part. There was lots of people who had their own opinion as well about that sort of stuff. So really interesting to hear from both young people and old. There was a guy called Dennis. I don't think he wanted to give his surname, but anyway, he was quite quite clear that, I think he was about 19 years of age, and he was quite clear that he felt disillusioned by the web and basically everything being quite homogenized, him being a product in this system. And yeah, it was really interesting to get a young person's take, as well as sort of people who are, a wee bit older, probably my age and older. So that's all about privacy and basically going onto a BBS, and why your privacy on a BBS is actually a bit more private on a BBS than you are on the web. The next one was about the machine behind me, which you cannot see, but it's just out of picture. You can see an Apple II there, but just over there, and you've seen it probably a whole number of times on this channel, there's a 5162. And so this was basically when I got a chance to, I think, show off my... There it is there, yeah. You can see the video, see the machine there. This was the chance when I finally got a to show off my 5162, and I paid a massive amount of money for a 5162. But the 5162, if you haven't ever heard of a 5160, is the IBM PC XT, and there was a million clones of those, and those were clocked at around 4.77 megahertz. They were basically a PC with a few extra bells and whistles. Well, the 5162 actually was a 286, so it was an AT in an XT's box. It was the exact box that the XT came in, which I preferred the aesthetic of. But it actually had a lot more similarities with the AT. And in fact, in many ways, the AT was a slightly less performing, or the initial release of the AT anyway, was a less performant 5162. It was better performing than the AT even. So I love that machine. It's still my favorite machine, and I paid far too much for it. I got it shipped from the United Kingdom all the way to New Zealand, which in of itself was quite the shock in a bill just to get it through customs. I think it was like 3-4 weeks just to get through customs here in New Zealand, which was awesome. But yeah, there's the video playing away there. Look at the crap that it was. It was soggy. It was so wet. I remember picking it up and just going, wow, is this actually not going to be completely water damaged? But thankfully it was packaged pretty well. It was packaged in all sorts of just weird stuff. So that was a very happy day for me. I finally got a machine which I'd been waiting for a very, very long time. And definitely check out that video. If you've never heard of a 5162, they're pretty rare machines, then I would check that one out. The next one was about FrogFind, and I think that was my very, very first attempt at doing a live stream on the channel. So I just downloaded Streamlabs OBS Studio, and I wanted to play with it, and I found out about this thing called FrogFind. FrogFind is super. You can see like I'm still going. Yeah, there we go. I didn't know what I was doing there, but basically, that was this website, Action Retro. Who the guy on Action Retro made this amazing website that basically allows content from modern websites to be sort of distilled into something that will work on old machines. So I thought that was really cool. So you've got an example of me running a VM there. I know it's pretty tiny thumbnail size, but it's a VM there running. I'll just see if I can move this over so you can see it a little bit easier. VM. Nope. Anyway, yeah, you can just make that out. A VM running, I think that was Windows 98, and you've got FrogFind running there, and FrogFind then allowed you to basically go to any web page, and it would work pretty normally. So, usually you can't see the BBC News because it just doesn't work. It needs JavaScript and CSS and all that sort of stuff. But here you can see all of the content which is readable working just fine. So that was all through the FrogFind proxy. which is a service which, as I say, the YouTuber Action Retro made. And so wonderful bit of work. Great for the retro community. Allows, if you're using Lynx or a web browser on a Mac, like iCab, or if you're using, all sorts of old web browsers, IE5 or whatever it was I was using there. All of those things work on that. So that was a great thing, and it even shows images. Yeah, it does show image thumbnails as well. So very cool. Definitely check that out. Back to the BBS Part 4 came on the hot heels of that one, and it was about BBS server software. So it's basically about setting up your own BBS, and I showed off a whole bunch of different BBS softwares. So for example, there's Synchronet, which is super popular. There's Enigma 1/2, which is a sort of more up and coming one. Mystic, which is the one that I run, which is between Synchronet and Mystic, they're the two most popular softwares. And then there's Image 3.0 for the Commodore 64, which is brand new. Legacy X, which I think is still in development actually. And then so there's a few interviews with all of the different authors of those particular softwares. So a really good episode, especially if you want to get into making your own BBS. Sort of kind of takes you through the journey of all the software. The next one was a bit of a play around. I think I was just kind of having a muck around one day and just fancied taking the piss out of. Yeah, I don't know. I think I was just in one of my moods, and I thought this software is a joke. Like this takes you. It's a full screen terminal for Windows, Mac, and Linux, and basically, when you press the keys on the keyboard, it makes a noise, and it looks like something out of a movie, and it's supposed to look something out of a movie. I don't think it's supposed to be taken too seriously, but I was just having a piss take. So there was a few gags in that particular one. So I think that one's only like 6 minutes long. So if you fancy a laugh at people trying to make out that they're hackers, then have a look at that one. The next movie was video was actually just a trailer of my BBS, sort of capture part in time. And you can see me logging into my BBS and showing around all the features of the BBS. I think this one, it's such a quick snapshot. It only lasts for 1:10, so it basically just shows you a quick idea of what the Al's Geek Lab BBS is. So if you want to check it out, you can go over to alsgeeklab.com, or you can use a proper terminal like Synchronet. Syncterm, made by the people who make Synchronet, and you can point at bbs.alsgeeklab.com. Make sure you use port 2323. Very important to use a proper terminal like that, I think, because it gives you the much better experience. The next one was when Microsoft decided to go ahead and release, I don't know, I look very posh there. It looked like I've just come out of work. They decided to release their own distribution of Linux. So I talked a bit about, what was that a good thing? What were they trying to do? What was the goal of Microsoft making Linux, or their own distribution anyway? And it's probably not what you might have thought. So check that out. The next one is it was a redo, and that one came out. I think, when did that one come out? That one, I think that was like on the anniversary of the IBM PC. So it was happy 40th birthday of the PC. So yeah, I can't remember exactly when that was. Oh, yeah, well, there you go. It says today, right at the top. Today, the August the 12th, 2021, marks the 40th anniversary of the IBM PC. So this is a kind of a remake of an earlier documentary I made on the IBM PC. So basically, how it came to be. It really is a fascinating story. And it goes through all of the areas about how they made the hardware choices, how they there was a skunk works inside IBM, how we managed to how this skunk works managed to get away from the normal IBM way of doing things. They were kind of rebels inside IBM, I guess. And if it wasn't for those guys, it wouldn't have never happened. It's a great story. I think that everyone, if they use a PC today and they want to know where the PC came from, then you could do a lot worse than check out this documentary. I think this was my first documentary. I made it actually the year before, and this, as I say, was a sort of reboot of that documentary for the 40th PC anniversary. I look at this documentary even today. I made this on iMovie because, as I say, it was in 2020. But I'm still pretty proud of this particular documentary. I watch it and I go, yeah, that was a pretty decent watch. I've watched it back a couple of times now and gone, yep, that's pretty good. And so if you are interested in the history of how the PC came to be, how MS-DOS came to be, all of that sort of stuff is in this 40-minute documentary, 35-minute documentary. So yeah, definitely check that one out. I would rate that one. I know that sounds like I'm tooting my own flute, but yeah, it was a good video, so definitely worth a watch. Then part 5 came along, the underground of the bulletin boards. So back in the day, so this is one of the ones where we kind of went a wee bit down memory lane, whereas all of the parts of Back to the BBS before then had all been about the current day and what BBSs are really, as opposed to where. But I thought it was quite interesting to take a little bit of a deviation from that path to give some context around the bulletin board services and why some of them seemed a bit edgy. And the reason for that is because a lot of people distributed illegal software on them. They gave hacking, freaking, anarchy, viruses, all that sort of stuff. They were all up for grabs on bulletin board systems. And so part 5 was kind of all about where that came from. And there was a couple of interviews with people who were involved back then with that as well. Then there was a couple of shorts. I sort of played with shorts for a while. I still do shorts on YouTube, but I thought, I got into it. I got delivered this book, which is called Incredible Doom, and it was all about using BBSs. So, there's a minute long reference to this book, which I think is a really good book. You should definitely check that short out if you're interested in seeing this. But it's like a comic book format, and it just sort of tells a story of teenage angst. Really, really cool story. I loved it. I loved the the pictures. It is a hardback book. Really, really nice quality book. So yep, I was just kind of delivered that out of thin air as well. I wasn't asking for this, and I was given this, I guess, because I've been doing Back to the BBS, and it was just wonderful to get that. So yeah, really cool. I think the next one was a short as well. Quite an informative short for 46 seconds long, because it showed using a web browser called Microweb on a CGA PC. And you can see here using FrogFind, I think it is, on the short. So yeah, only 40 seconds, but it gets to the point very quickly and tells you all about using a modern web browser. Yeah, it's like the Microweb. I think is still in absolute active to development right to this very day. So when was the last release? 13th of August, I think. I feel like it was more recent even than that. 17 days ago. Yeah, you can see that there was an experimental build done 17 days ago. So there you go. Yeah, it's really cool to see a web browser for old PCs, CGA. I think Hercules is even supported, and EGA for 8088. So XT PC class and above. Then there was this. There's this crazy thing about the spyware that came out on Apple devices, which was I felt like there was a conspiracy on the go at the time, and it was a real doozy. So yeah, quite an interesting story behind the oh god, what was the name of the group that made the ransom? It was spyware for your iPhone. I can't remember the name of the software. Oh dear, that's really annoying. Tip of my tongue. Anyway, it was a company in Israel who basically were paid for the software that exploited these vulnerabilities in not just iPhones, but all sorts of different devices. And it was found on things like people who were celebrities, people who were in the press, activists, all these sorts of things. They were these were using these exploits were targeted on specific people. So it's really interesting to find that they were going after specific people with this software. So there was a big update from Apple around this, and this was back in September. So yeah, easy how people forget these things, but these are really big, important things. And I guess, you know, at the moment everybody's still kind of talking about the Log4j vulnerability at the moment. But maybe at some point that will turn into, you know, people will forget about that. It's really important that people don't forget about these sorts of things. I started seeing Project Brutality. I just found out about it somehow, and I thought, goodness, this is quite difficult to play. It's quite difficult to download. So I put a video online just to show people how to download, install Project Brutality on their Windows or Linux PC, which is a great port of Doom, basically, for a modern PC. It's super violent, but it looks cool, and yeah, I've played it quite a lot now. I think I replayed the entire Doom through it. So yeah, if you want to know how to download it, how to play it, all that sort of stuff, just check out that video. It's only about a 5-minute video, 5:08. There you go. Yeah, so there you go. In October, I went to a place not far from here, up the Kapiti Coast here in New Zealand, and I got to meet up with a whole bunch of people who, most of them I've met before at some point over the years, many years. Terry, the guy that's speaking in that video there, he's pretty much the most prolific person in the New Zealand vintage computer background, I guess. And I met him when I lived in Auckland, and I lived in Auckland 7 or 8 years ago. So that shows you how long ago the last time I met Terry. And Terry's a wonderful guy and knows so much about retro machines. Love to, you know, chat to him, I guess, and put him on the channel at some point. But he's got a wonderful channel as well. So you should check him out. But yeah, that was a great chance to go off and look at everybody's machines. So loads of people brought their machines into this meetup that we had. Felt quite privileged, sadly, I guess, because a lot of the world was still kind of locked down or couldn't do this sort of stuff, and we were enjoying ourselves. Even Aucklanders were locked down at that point, so it was the lower part of the North Island that could do this here in New Zealand. So yeah, it did feel quite privileged. So I was quite aware of that. But basically, everybody brought their own machines in and got a chance to talk about their own machines. It was a great day. And that's Terry there talking about his Apple Lisa, which he was, prior to that day, actually going to get rid of. He was going to sell it. And he decided to hold on to it after that. I tell you what, if he had put that up on TradeMe or eBay, I would have definitely been bidding for that. I'd have probably never been able to afford it. But it was great. And I sort of made a compilation video of all of these talks and all of the information that I heard on all of the different machines. There was some, you know, really great weird machines as well, stuff that you'll have probably never seen yourself, like these S100 machines. These were pretty unique things, and so yeah, check that one out as well if you're interested in, you know, all sorts of retro machines. This next one, I think we're getting towards the end of the year now. I think this was like November or maybe even early December, I'd been furiously working away on the Back to the BBS Part 6 video, and so I took a little time off, I guess, just to do other stuff because it was it's kind of getting to me. And so I thought it would be a laugh one night. I think we were just me and my partner, we were just kind of having a laugh, and I said, let's play a computer game, and she said sure. And then I said, yeah, but the deal is you've got to learn how to use DOS and learn how to basically get the computer to play the game. So for some reason she went along with this. I think a glass of wine or two might have had something to do with it, but I got her to basically read through the manual here of the IBM PC XT 5162, of course, and learn her way through to get to play a game which I think was Burger Time. I think at the end of the video she worked it out. It took it took a long time. It took 18 minutes to get to the point where it actually took a lot longer than that. I edited the video right down, but yep. Thank you to Christina for that. It was great fun. It was a lot of laughs actually, that was good. It was good fun video. This one here, I've never really been a big person that replaces parts or anything like that. I'm not very good with a soldering iron, but I thought, you know what? I've got a blown power supply here. I'm going to show you all how to do it. Because I'm going to do it, and if I'm successful, then I'll release the video on YouTube, and if I'm not, then I won't. And I was successful, and it works very well. So my BBC power supply is absolutely been fixed up here. So I went through all the trials and tribulations of somebody who's an absolute novice with this sort of stuff, showing how to do it. Replacing the caps. And I watch a lot of videos where people replace components on hardware on YouTube videos, and they don't really show the detail of how to actually desolder and solder things. So I thought I would take that opportunity to do that on this power supply. And I hope that's helped. But anyway, that's a little thing there. Then I had a chat to one of my Patreons, Miguel, and we just thought off a topic off the top of our heads, really. We talked about a whole bunch of things, but that was a really nice opportunity to get a chat with one of my Patreons. And if any of the Patreons that I have, we met over the BBS, actually. That's where we first met. So he obviously found out about me via Back to the BBS. But we ended up talking about cyberbullying and what it would be like growing up as a kid today without BBSs and going into the internet as it is, and potentially being bullied and all the rest. It's just would be crap to be a kid today, to be honest with you, I think was my opinion. But anyway, that's a video there about a nice little chat with one of my Patreons. I'd love to have more chats with my Patreons, so if you're keen to have a video chat, then please let me know. I would love to speak to you, and we can have a yarn, and it can go up on the channel and so forth. So there's me. I'm actually wearing the same shirt. Look at that. Hey. Okay, almost there. The part 6, that's it. Yeah, it's pretty much it. Yes, that is it. Part 6. This came out 3 days ago, and this was the inevitable part where I talk about the demo scene. The mod tracker scene is next, or the music tracker scene is next, but this is all about demos, which is a great display of what computers can actually do when artists and musicians and really clever programmers all come together. So that one's just come out, and I've got interviews with Jim Trickster Leonard. He's a legend. He did many things. I'll let you watch the video, but if you're interested in the demo scene at all in any way, do check that one out. It's really cool. This whole part of the demo, this video, episode 6, I think. Oh goodness, it took so long to edit. I had hours and hours and hours and hours of footage, and I had to really, it was painstaking to actually choose which parts to take and which parts to exclude to get it in. And it still is one of the longest videos I've done. It's 1 hour and 8, but I think initially it was about 4 hours. And I actually got some help from some of the Patreons and some of the regular viewers off the channel. To say, okay, well, you should probably put it into 2 parts and so forth. But yeah, really, it was a very, very long, drawn out process to edit that video. So I'm glad I'm finished with it. Certainly, it was a lot of work, but it was worth it. I think it's a good video. And if you're interested in what the demo scene is, what it is, what was all about, how the BBS scene intertwined with all of that, then you should definitely check that out. So that's it. That is all of the stuff that the channel has produced this year since the beginning of January 2021. I cannot wait for 2022 because I'll finish off the Back to the BBS series. I think it's been a lot of fun, but it's now time to put an end to that. So we'll have the music tracker scene, which I've got all the content in Premiere all loaded up. It just needs finalizing and editing, so that's going to take a little bit of time to finalize there. And then I'll do one more, which is on ANSI. So I've probably ANSI graphics, that is. So 2 more parts. I might even do a final thing, which is kind of like a group it all together. And this is, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that's been 2021. Once I'm finished with Back to the BBS, that'll be a good kind of weight off my mind. I think it's been a lot of work to do that documentary series. A real, that's been 2 years now. Putting that together, and most weeks I sort of do a bit here and a bit there after work, and I'm doing a full-time job, so obviously it kind of weighs on my mind. I just want to get it done now, but I've got lots of other great videos coming up, which I've got. Where's my piece of paper? I've got a piece of paper down here somewhere. I can't believe I've lost my piece of paper. I had it just close by, so I could tell you all about my shows you how well prepared I am. I have some great videos anyway. I think one of them I really wanted to get done for December this year, which I haven't been able to do, was on Gary Kildall. But we'll leave that till maybe next year. So it's going to be a great year. I've got some great content lined up. Put it that way. I won't spoil it for you. I won't tell you all about it right now. But I just have to say, look, it's been a pretty challenging year this year in terms of personal life. It's my health is really not been great. I've been in hospital quite a few times, so I'm looking forward to 2022 where I'm healthy and recovered, and I have more time for doing stuff like this, which is is certainly a lot of fun. I love having feedback from people, both in the comments. I love the Patreons. The Patreon. It's not just about the fact that there's a little bit of money coming in on Patreon. It's the fact that I have a community of people who are also pretty passionate about the same things, and they want to talk to me, and I'm getting new friends out of this. So the channel is still young. It's only 2.39k subscribers. I would absolutely love the channel to grow, and I'm not doing that for financial gain. This channel costs me money. It doesn't actually earn me any money when all said and done. It doesn't cost me a lot, but it costs more than I earn from it. I think I've had one paycheck from YouTube, so that earns me pretty much nothing. So Patreon is really the only income that I get from it. But it's not about that. Really, I love the fact that, I can look at this and say that I've had 233,000 views, and I've almost hit that 100 videos mark, and, I've got, 2.39 2.39 thousand loyal subscribers. I think what would really make a difference to me is that, I hit myself. I had a goal of, just a mental goal of going, right, if I can hit 1,000 subscribers by Christmas of 2020, sorry. Yep, 2020, then I would, I'd keep going with this. I'd keep doing this. And I did that. I surpassed that just with Back to the BBS Part 1 in December 2020. And now here I am. I've got, 2.39. It's obviously it's growing, but it's growing at a similar trend, a similar pace. I think the next thing for me would be that I'd really love to see that rate of subscribers go up again. And again, that's not for any financial reason at all. It's basically just to say to me what I'm doing is worthwhile and people like my stuff and that they're coming back to see more and more. So I like to hear what you think. I'd like to hear what you want on the channel. You want more off, you want less off. So if you use the thumbs up, maybe not the thumbs down, but if you like the thumbs up, or if you don't like the content and you want me to do more of something else, then just let me know. Just tell me in the comments, or on Patreon if you're a patron, or just in an email. You can even email me. You can just I think there's a button that you can click on here somewhere that says how to get in touch with me, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, you can also check me on Ko-Fi as well. You can buy me a coffee over there. Basically, Ko-Fi is just a little website you can go to, and you can choose how much you want to give me, and you don't have to do a recurring monthly payment or anything like that. If you just like something that I did on a one-off basis, you can just give me some money and it gives me a tip it basically pays for my coffee. So you can do that. I hate all the commercial bollocks, to be honest with you. It's not what I do this for. I do this for the love, and I've really enjoyed it. But I'd like to continue to keep doing it. It does take an awful lot of time to do it properly, and that's the other thing. I'm a bit fastidious about these sorts of things. I really do like doing things properly. I like to edit things properly. I like to make things look professional, at least good enough. And so I guess that's why I'm not fastidious about releasing videos every week. If you think that I should make more sort of free-form stuff like this, where I'm just kind of talking crap, let me know. Maybe I should do that. I can do. But for now, I like to edit everything and put music to it and put graphics and all that sort of stuff on that. So, yeah. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for being with me here in 2021. And for those of you who subscribe and those for you who are Patreons or whatever, I seriously, from the bottom of my heart, I really, really love it. I'm looking forward so much to the new year. Until we see each other again, which is pretty soon, take care, be safe, be healthy, and be excellent to each other.